Career Trail, your success journey begins here.
The final brew has no choice. It must be bitter ball or sweet honey. These words were beautifully crafted in a well-known Ghanaian literary work titled The Master Brewer. I believe most of you are familiar with this poem, especially my literature students. Well, starting the premiere episode of the Career Trail new edition for us, we are joined by the master behind this craft, a poet whose work has not only impacted the literary landscape, but also shaped or enriched our thoughts of life through its profound depth. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irene Dubia Ainin. If you are ready, I was definitely born ready to do this. Let's take a look at the profile video of my guest.
This week on Career Trail, who is our guest? He holds a degree in medicine and surgery with a long career in healthcare. He is a former surgeon, now retired, who made significant contributions to the medical field. He's a celebrated Ghanaian poet known for his thought-provoking works on culture, history, and society. With numerous poetry collections to his name, his work has garnered national and international recognition. Several of his poems have been approved by the Ghana Education Service for study in senior high schools. One of his notable poems is The Master Brewer, a poem which has gained recognition for its insightful exploration of culture, history, and identity. Our guest for this week's edition of Career Trail is Professor Lade Wosornu.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have it right there. I want you to help me with a round of applause. Welcome our star, an icon, a protagonist, a hero, a champion, a leader, a role model, a sage, and of course, a remarkable poet, Professor Lade Wosornu. Hello, Prof.
Hello, madam.
Finally, good to see you. It is an honor to meet you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Oh.
It's mutual.
Okay. So before we even start with the conversation, I want to say a very big thank you to you for honoring our invitation to be on the Career Trail to share your story with the world. We are so excited to have you on the show.
Well, it's routine to add that it is a privilege, but I really mean that. I really mean it's a privilege, especially since you indicated that this is going to be the beginning of a new series. It's a privilege. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Prof. Okay, so let's talk about childhood. When we talk about Professor Lade Wosornu, just tell us a little about yourself. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? How was the upbringing like?
Oh, that's a loaded question, madam. Actually, we need to put one thing right at the moment. Jipito has been added to my name. As you can see, these beads around my neck were an honor given me by my clan when in November 2022 I was given this name, Jipito Professor Lade Wosornu.
Okay, okay. So Jipito Lade, Professor Lade Wosornu.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I was born in a village called Galosota in the Volta region, South Tongue. My father came from a village called Zobova, and my mother from Galosota. And I grew up in that village. It was very instructive to be there. It was a joy to be one of the children in that village. Now, what do you want me to say about that? I started my education there, and then I continued at Adam for Presbyterian School, and then went for the boarding school, Adam Bana Boarding School. From then, I went to Presec in the Oduma Sekrobo, the ancient Presec. From there, I had the sixth form in St. Augustine's, Cape Coast. From Cape Coast, but all these are already on record. One went to Glasgow University and beyond. I think I'll leave it like that.
Oh, okay.
The other information is available online, actually. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So growing up, how was the upbringing like? Did you have supportive parents? Were your parents strict with you?
The upbringing is unfortunate that we no longer have access to the kind of upbringing that we had when we were children. For one thing, our parents were very caring, and I, for one, was. Let me remember the lesson that my mother actually brought me to pay attention to. One day, she was working in Accra, and she came to the village for Christmas, and there I was, did my best, took my singlet, washed it, ironed it, and wore it, and came before my mother, so pleased to see her. She embraced me, of course, and said, "Oh, Lade, Azawagbalo, have you eaten?" I said, "Not yet." "Okay, have your breakfast." I had breakfast then. Then after that, you turn around. Do you see those holes in your singlet? Take it off. Take it off now. Do you want to be a pauper? Don't ever wear torn clothing. Is that clear? And I got the message. At the same time, my uncle who was looking after me, he was a little bit handicapped. He had shakes, he had the trembling, he was dribbling, and so on. He was an underprivileged person.
Okay.
But he taught me how to be brave. And we are taught how to manage hunger, manage thirst. We are taught how to fight in a group, fight neatly without hurting each other. So we are brought up together like a family, a community. That was how we were brought up.
Oh, okay. So how many children were you?
Now, my father was what is called a polygamist, but so be it. My mother was a junior wife, so on my father's side there were many. On my mother's side, with my father, there were only two of us. My mother had 6 children altogether, and four of us survived. The other 2 died earlier.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. So now let's talk about still childhood. When you are growing up, usually you say, or you have the saying that when I grow up, maybe I want to be like Professor Lade. When I grow up, I want to be like this person. Were you having any of these experiences? Who did you look up to growing up?
Apparently, when I was born, my head wasn't completely fused, so the brain was exposed. Therefore, I had very tender skull, and I was always crying. So one day, my mother came to our village, and they said, "Hey, what is this child you have given me?" So my father told her, "He's going to be a proverb, but he will solve himself." And then when I was 4, I knew I was going to be a doctor. And so my father was a healer, a traditionalist,
Okay.
a herbalist, and the owner of a shrine. So he taught me herbs when I was very young, explaining that it's the herbs that do these things, the drumming and the singing and all that, they're accessories. They help the patient, but the herbs are the thing.
Wow.
And apparently when I was young, I was also dissecting frogs, apparently, and also at that time we had attacks of a guinea worm in the village, chronic ulcers on legs. So one day I told my mother, Mr. Nyamsa, let's cut the skin and put on top of this, it should heal. My mother said, "Where do you get that idea from?" I said, "I don't know, but I think it should work." It's called skin grafting. And I was talking about that when I was 5 years old.
Wow. So at age 4, you had already decided that you wanted to be a doctor.
That's what I was told. My daughter never gonna, but
Wow. So now, when you had discovered that age, you went to school. So now I know that during your time, it's not the senior high school that we have now. So take us through your educational background from the onset.
The education we started in the village, and the man who came to teach us had gone there on the sick leave. I think he maybe had tuberculosis. So he founded this school. And my elder brother and our cousin were going to school. And I said, Nyama school, Nyama school. I also going to school. Said, "But you are just a child." I said, "Nyama yiga." So I followed them. Now, eventually, we went to Adan Secondary School.
Okay.
And they were so lucky that the wife of my uncle, my 2 uncles, each had a woman, a wife from Adan. So they were speaking the language Adan in our village. They vowed to speak only their mother tongue. They said they will not speak Igbe in the village, even though they could speak it fluently. And that was how the children of my age group, we picked up the Adan language effortlessly. That is important, to expose those children to mother tongue early so they will learn it and become flexible in their mind. You are doing them a disservice, you are strangling them intellectually by not speaking mother tongue with them.
Oh.
So that's how I learned to speak mother tongue.
Oh.
And my Ebe, the Adan, the Gan, and so on.
Oh, okay.
So from there I went to Badan Banda. Of course, well, I happened to be the senior prefect anyway, but that's something else.
You were a prefect?
Yes, when I was in San 7.
So after Ada Senior High School, you went Ada Secondary School.
No, the senior high.
Senior high now. Okay, you went to another.
To Presec. No, okay. From 1944 to 1948, junior school.
Okay.
48 to 51, senior school. 52 to 55, secondary school. And then 6 to 7, sixth form.
Oh, okay.
8, university.
Wow, you had to go through so many phases of education.
It was useful.
Wow. So what course did you study at Ada Senior High School?
The usual civics, arithmetic, religion, and then of course English, and then the language, they called it vernacular in those days.
Oh, okay.
But at that time we were reading also Gan in Adan, didn't have Adangbe at that time.
Okay.
That's how it was.
Okay. And then the next school that you went to?
In Presec, I found that I was very fond of literature. And when you went to Form 3, going to Form 4, to choose subjects, you had to do, as you know, either the sciences or the arts.
Okay.
And then I wanted very much to keep on doing literature, but this literature was simultaneously being offered with art maths. So I had to let literature go when I was in Form 3, going to Form 4, and I wept because I was really very upset. I wanted to keep it going, but I had to sacrifice it at that time. And then, of course, I did the O levels in Presec, the A levels in St. Augustine's.
Oh, okay. So after Presec, you went to
St. Augustine for the sixth form for year 56 and 57.
And with that, what course did you study?
You'll be hearing about that momentarily. When I went to St. Augustine's, it was physics, chemistry, zoology, and botany, pure science.
In my time, when we went to senior high school, we experienced, especially when you're a fresher, first year student, most of the students want to, bully you. Did you experience any of that in your time?
Most certainly, yes. But you see, it was the scenario. You knew it was going to be. I've already been trained how to endure when I was a child. So when I came to secondary school and that sort of bullying was around, it was child's play. It was no big deal. But fortunately, I had a man called Sobojo, Julius Sobojo. He was in Form 4 when I came to Form 2, a much bigger, taller person than I am, but speaking the same Adan language at that time. So he shielded me from the hardships, really hardships of the really hardy part of the bullying. I must confess, I was slightly shielded by him. But it was no big deal.
So you were his favorite?
You might say that. You might say that, yeah. Oh. But we have to follow all the rules. It's as simple as that. Okay. If you choose to disobey and play the truant, you have every chance to do it. But that was your choice. You are the master brewer.
Oh, okay.
That was your choice.
All right. After
the sixth form,
where did you go to next?
The government of Ghana was giving scholarships at that time, and we applied for it, and I was called for an interview, and by the Ministry of Health. It was an interesting interview, but because one had done fairly well in the exams in terms of one's grades and so on, so I was called very early in the list of things. The interviewer was saying that, Mr. Wosornu, you are a little bit, I know you are the fourth on the list, but the excellent universities have been chosen already. London is no longer available, Edinburgh is gone, St. Augustine is no longer. So you are only left with Glasgow. I said, any university is a university. I'll take it, and by God's grace, we should do reasonably well. So I was posted to the University of Glasgow in Scotland.
Wow. You living from, the Ghanaian educational system to experience a new or a different system. How was it? How did you even embrace the tradition? Because Ghanaians have our own tradition. You are going to another country, they have their own tradition. How was their life there in Scotland?
This that you have to allow me to this opportunity to pay homage and tribute to the University of Glasgow and what it stood for, and also the Ghanaians who were there before I came. Also, Nani Hodanu in particular, and so on. Nani sourced me out and said, "Lade, you are here. You must try to win the Bronton Prize." I said, "What is that?" And next thing was this, that and that at that university at that time, those who coming from Ghana with BSc had to go to level 100 in the university. Talk about 1958. That's what I'm talking about now. So for some man, they had the BSc from London University, from Legon. When they went to Glasgow, level 100. But in our time, 1958, the university changed the rules. They gave us the chance that, oh, you have come with 4 A levels. You have A in all of them. So let's give you a chance. If you sit the resit in the autumn and you pass at level 100 exam, then you can skip level 100 and go to level 200. That is your choice. Listen to this. So there we were doing that exam in the autumn of 1958. We're doing chemistry. We had to isolate elements. And in our time, it required filter paper and a funnel. So when I reached that stage, I said, "Sir, may I have a filter paper, please?" So the teacher said, "I beg your pardon, son, filter paper, please." And I saw everybody had gone red in the face, like this, like this, like this. So he said, in a moment, son, he went and brought it. So it was a dirty, filthy paper. So that's what we have. But do you really need this? Yes, I can't do without it. So I failed the practicals because I've never seen a centrifuge before. That was what would be used at that time. Okay, so I failed the practical exam miserably. Now listen to what the dean said, and this is a privilege to thank the Glasgow University now. There were 4 of us then, a Ghanaian, a Nigerian, one from also an Indian, and one other also from another country. They assembled that because they all have 4 A levels. The dean said, "Young men, you have done quite well in your theory papers. Some of you, your practical paper is terrible, but you're going to give them a chance to go to level 200 to begin with.
Wow.
If you do well in your first exam, you shall proceed on level 200. If you flop, you go right back to level 400. And I said, game on. I said, thank you, sir. So they gave us that opportunity by skipping us to level 200 because there are 4 A levels, and they changed the rules to make it easy for us to go to level 200 to start with. That was not the end. Nani kept in touch with me. He said, Lade, be sure you are working very hard. Come and live with me. Take a room in my flat so that I can supervise you. And then Vivian, my wife, she said, hey, Charlie, you understand that?
No.
Study properly. I don't want your mother to come blame me that because you are married, you are doing less well now. Your library, no, go to the library and go and read. By the time you come home, I would have prepared against your coming. That's how everything conspired to make me work. I also had to stop my interest in reading because I had to sacrifice my love for literature, sacrifice it, and focus on these exams. One more thing from Glasgow University, because they are an excellent institution. They were ready to make room for the unexpected. We had to answer one question in the final exam, comparing and contrasting some form of disease. There are 4 of them, this, B, A, and C. And we are told to write only on the right-hand side of the page, not on the flip side of it. So I wrote at the very beginning, sir, I'm sorry, sir, I will not answer this question like that. I will use both sides of the page and I'm going to answer it in tabular mode. And I went and did that.
And how did it go?
2020.
Wow.
But that because of the university, not because of me.
Okay. Okay.
So you must be prepared to make room for the unexpected student. Eventually they found out that that was the best way to answer the question, by tabulating it.
Wow.
But that was because of the university, not me.
Yeah.
The university always examining what they are doing, cross-checking their own performance, and modifying it to progress.
Oh, okay.
I must thank them for this.
For that.
Thank you.
All right.
And my colleagues were there also to make sure that, and I failed the first exam. They were expecting me to get a distinction in physiology and biochemistry and also anatomy. I got neither. So that was in the spring of 1959. So when my colleagues said, "Oh, okay, I can't say yeah, because of your color." So a friend of mine from Scotland, Brent Habig, he came to me and said, "Lade, I hear that you said you didn't get the distinction because of your color. Come to my house, we'll have a dinner." And you know what they did to me? He dished it to me and said, "You coward, it's nothing to do with your color. If you are brave, if you're any good, come back and fight. Come out fighting. Or you can go into a corner and behave like a
Coward.
a coward." I said, "Brian?" He said, "Yes." Huh. So I said to him, and then I said, "Go to the library and check again." And I went to the library and discovered that by the grace of God, I had got actually the highest mark in the 2 subjects. I missed the distinction by a fraction. But because of Brent Habig, which can read in that poem, I got back, put on my jacket, stuck my tails up, and the rest is history.
So you went back to study
Yes,
because you wanted to get the distinction.
because Nani said I could do it.
Yeah. So, Prof, after your education in Scotland, what next?
Oh dear. I came to Ghana. Those were the days when one was so proud to be a Ghanaian. And I'm sure we are all still proud to be Ghanaians. And we are offered the opportunity to have a citizenship, the UK citizenship. We rejected it. We're coming home to serve our country. As soon as I qualified and got my FRC, I said, "Salam, bye-bye, Scotland. I'll see you around." And I grew wings and came home straight to start working in the Ghana Medical School.
So you had the opportunity to become a UK citizen.
Yes.
And you rejected it.
Yes.
Because you wanted to come and serve in your homeland.
Yes.
You went to pursue medicine for how many years?
I was there in 1958.
Okay.
And I got my MBCHB in 1963.
So
I was allowed by the Ghana government to extend my stay to get the FRCS qualification in the specialty of a general surgeon. So I came back to Ghana, what is people call it the first coming, in 1971, around about that time.
Oh, Okay.
And I came straight to Ghana Medical School.
Years.
Yes.
Okay.
And I stayed for 2 years, and I had to go back for my PhD equivalent, and that was done in London.
Oh, okay.
For
so before
another
we
2
talk
years.
about the PhD journey, you came to Ghana.
Yes.
And then what did you do in Ghana? Now that you have decided not to accept the UK papers to become a citizen.
I was employed as a lecturer in the Department of Medicine, surgery in particular. My boss was Sir Charles Ismond, of blessed memory, a devoted man, a man of wisdom, and a man of compassion.
Okay.
I worked with him in his department. That's his registrar at that time. So we got on very well. Eventually, he got for me a scholarship to go back to the UK and do my PhD equivalent. So after being here for 2 years only, I went back to continue the PhD equivalent in the Hammersmith General Hospital, London.
Next week on the Career Trail.
How do you think young people of today can embrace the reading culture?
He who would write must first read. Focus, sacrifice. You must sacrifice something. Otherwise you get nothing. When you meditate, you learn to keep your mind silent. And the silence of your mind, when you are lucky, these things keep coming. Whatever thoughts come to you, jot them down. This abolition of mother tongue in the elementary school is, excuse my word, is unfortunate. I'm being very diplomatic. We have thrown that out because we disrespect our mother tongue. Because your mind has been enslaved.
The Career Trail. Your success journey begins here.